Title: When I turned my phone back on after 7 days, I expected desperate messages from my husband. Instead, there was nothing, and that silence terrified me more than any words ever could. When I turned my phone back on after 7 days, I expected a flood. Missed calls, frantic messages, maybe even a few threats disguised as apologies. But there was nothing. No texts, no calls, no desperate explanations. Just silence. And that silence, it told me everything I needed to know. I'd left the phone off deliberately, like sealing a wound before it could bleed out. The world thinks grief is loud, sobbing, screaming, breaking things. But mine was quiet, precise, like the slow inhale before a sniper's shot. You see, Daniel was always good at pretending. The husband who kissed my forehead every morning, who sent flowers just because, who made me believe that loyalty could be romantic. For 9 years I believed him. For 9 years I was the wife who forgave small lies because they sounded like love. Until the night I found the photograph. It was hidden in a folder on his laptop, labeled "Work Expenses." I almost laughed at the irony. A photo with him, shirt half undone, hand on her waist. Her face turned toward him like she already belonged to him. I recognized the hotel room. We'd stayed there once, on our anniversary. That's when the switch flipped. Shock, then nausea, then an eerie calm. I remember standing there, staring at the screen, feeling my heartbeat slow down instead of speed up. That was the moment I realized I'd already lost him long before I found the proof. He didn't know I knew. And I didn't confront him. Not yet. I played my part. Quiet, predictable, loving wife. I smiled when he talked about late meetings. I kissed him goodnight and memorized the lies he thought he'd gotten away with. And while he played his game, I started mine. First, I moved the money. Small amounts at first. Investments I'd been meaning to manage. Then the joint savings. Then the house, restructured in a way he didn't notice. He'd never cared about paperwork. He thought financial power was boring. I made it my weapon. Then I started collecting evidence. Every message, every hotel booking, every shared photo buried in his cloud storage. I even recorded his calls, the ones where his voice softened for her in a way it hadn't for me in years. I knew her name, her address, her workplace. But revenge isn't about chaos. It's about control. So I waited. The perfect moment came when he suggested we take a break. He said he needed space to think. I nodded, pretending I didn't already know that she'd just rented an apartment, pretending I didn't already know he was planning to move in with her. That's when I turned my phone off. 7 days of silence. Enough time for him to panic, to question what I knew, to wonder what I was doing. Except, apparently, he didn't, because when I turned it back on, there was nothing. That's what terrified me. The realization that he hadn't been worried at all, that my absence was a relief to him. That's when I decided I wouldn't just leave him, I would erase him. The first move was legal. My lawyer, discreet and ruthless, filed the divorce using the evidence I'd collected. Infidelity clauses, financial misconduct, I had it all. He wouldn't see it coming until the papers landed on his desk. The second move was personal. I sent her, the other woman, a package. Inside, a simple envelope. Photos of her and Daniel, and one of me, standing at the same hotel window she thought was her secret. The note read, "He told me the same things he tells you now. Enjoy the lies while they last." I knew she'd show him. I wanted her to. The fallout was better than I imagined. He showed up at the house 2 days later, red-eyed, unshaven, furious. The man who once rehearsed his words was now stuttering, desperate. He accused me of going too far. I just smiled. Too far? He hadn't seen anything yet. I walked him through every piece of evidence, every transfer, every email, every quiet step I'd taken while he was busy cheating. When I handed him the divorce papers, he went pale. "You planned this," he said. I nodded. "For months." He tried to threaten me, then beg, then cry. I watched him crumble, piece by piece, the same way he'd dismantled me without ever noticing. The next morning, the locks were changed. His name vanished from every document. His bank accounts were frozen pending investigation for misuse of marital funds. And her? She left him within a week. It's been 7 days since then. 7 days since silence became my ally. The house is quiet again, but this time it doesn't haunt me. It feels earned. I sip my coffee at the same table where I once believed his lies, and I realize something. Revenge isn't fire. It's ice. It doesn't burn, it preserves. It keeps the truth intact long enough to bury the past with precision. I didn't destroy him in anger. I dismantled him in peace. And when I finally blocked his number for good, I didn't hesitate. I didn't need to see his words. I'd already written the ending myself. He thought silence meant defeat. He was wrong. Silence was my weapon, and I used it to make sure the last sound he ever heard from me was nothing at all. I used to think love was about being heard. Now I know real power is in what you don't say, and in how quietly you make them fall.